Hey there, this is Andy, and in today's video, we're cleaning up the garden. So what are we harvesting today?
My love for you.
Just grab the crates. Hi, Pepper. Deer eating kale. It's October 10th here today, and we've had several hard frosts now in Vermont, and the garden is completely kaput. It's gonna reach 70 today. It's like 60 right now, which is wonderful temperatures for working outside, and it's a Saturday. So we're gonna jump on this nice weather here this morning and do some garden cleanup before it gets down into the low 50s, 40s, and cold, wet, and rainy. So that's today's project, cleaning up a lot of the old growth of the flowers and things, taking down crops that the deer mowed off, pulling up some of the weed mat around so the grass and stuff doesn't just keep growing on top of it, because it makes it really, really hard to remove. So we're gonna rip that up today, and then next spring we'll lay down on top of the grass and try that for weed management. So some of the tools we brought down today include this right here, which isn't ours. We're borrowing it from her dad. It is a hedge trimmer, but it's gonna work perfectly for mowing down some of those bushy flower crops and this grass, decorative grass thing that we grew, because we can just chop it all off and then pull up the plastic around it. We've got a couple of rakes to help pull off some of that material, and we'll use the wheelbarrow to bring to that compost bin that I built. If you want to see how that was built, check out this video here. And a couple of bulb crates, because we've got things like glads that need to be dug up before winter really sets in, to be planted next spring, because they can't take our Vermont winters. Let's see, a lot of black on the head means a warm fall and a long winter. So how do we pull up glads for winter?
If you want to do it the easy way, you just pull them up. And if your soil's soft enough, they just come out. If you want to do it the hard way, you loosen the soil with a fork.
Well, it depends on your soil conditions. Ours is nice and soft right now. Surprisingly, despite our drought this summer,
yeah,
you'd think it'd be rock hard, but we got good dirt here.
Well, and it just rained the other day, so it's wet a little bit.
Yeah, good point. So did they grow? Did they multiply?
Yeah, this one, that was one glad that turned into 3. So you can see that little thing on there was the original corm, which is dead now. In the spring I'll pull that off. And then there's the 3 that came off of that. And theoretically all these little tiny corms could turn into something if I left them, but I won't.
this year we did a couple different experiments with black plastic. Last year was primarily this first section here of the garden, and we did almost everything in black plastic, both the rows and the walkways. And a couple things we did differently this year is she did a little bit more bare dirt planting, but we kept the walkways covered in plastic. And then what we're actually doing is covering the plastic with mulch. So that's a long-term plan, much a perennial garden, and something that we shouldn't ever have to tend to for many, many years. So that's the thought there, is that the mulch will hold moisture and protect the plastic from just the solar degradation and just rotting away. But a couple findings was this year we also kind of did the inverse, where we planted some plants in the plastic here with burned holes, but then not the walkways. And we were originally gonna intend to put plastic down on the walkways. We have it and everything, but one, it was a little bit pressure on time, and two, the way I built these raised beds was actually using the snowplow on the gator to create a furrow and then just rake it out. So the walkways were actually narrower than we had wanted, and they're only like barely a foot apart, which is fine. We got a couple extra rows of flowers, which was a bonus, but we didn't have a full 3 feet between the rows like we did over here to use that plastic. It would have been all folded up, and then we would have put more staple holes in it and whatnot, so we just decided not to do it. And midsummer when I was weeding, I was practically swearing because I hate weeding, and it was not how I wanted to spend my time because I had to weed the aisleways, which sucked. Some plants like the plastic, some don't. It helps hold moisture, but it also doesn't always let the rain saturate through as nicely, and it's harder to plant into, which kind of sucks, but there's no weed pressure in between the plants all summer long, which is phenomenal, and we do like it for that. But over here in the perennial garden side, where it's bare dirt, Kylie was saying how kind of once she weeds it once, maybe twice, the weeds don't come in a whole lot, especially because we have a boundary of plastic here, so the grass isn't going to creep into the rows per se, because the rows are treated, you know. So that's the way we've been managing it, and we learned a couple things this year. Next year, I think what we're gonna do is a little bit more bare ground. We'll probably still use some plastic for some crops, so we don't have to weed in between, but then finish spreading the mulch between the rows so we have nice walkways. Palm trees. And there we have it. The garden is wrapped up and put away for fall, just about. We picked up everything we needed to do today, which included cutting down all the old growth, pulling up the plastic, pulling up the glads and the dahlia tubes and bulbs. Next thing we need to do is just pick up all the fabric that we rolled up. So we'll pick that up, pick up a few sandbags that are left behind, take down the P fences probably, and then that's it. So we pulled up even all the fabric that was around the perimeter of the first section, and we decided what we're gonna do next year is till around the perimeter in the spring and then lay down fabric fresh every year, and then that will keep the edges safe from grass creeping, and we can mow around that. So that's how we're gonna treat the edges, and then the inside we'll use fabric down the walkways and cover it with mulch, and then for the most part the beds where we'll be growing are just gonna be bare dirt. And in this section we may even try it not doing a raised bed. It takes a lot of effort to build them when you don't have anything to raise it up. And we'd also like to cover crop. We've got another plot that we could rotate in, so this would allow us to cover crop the whole thing in the fall over the winter and then till it in the spring. So it's a bit of a trade-off whether tilling hurts the soil versus cover cropping helps the soil, but then when you cover crop you really need to till it to incorporate it. So a little bit of a gamble there. Anyways, it's all like lumpy and bumpy this year because we had raised beds. So either way, we're gonna till it next spring, and then we'll make decisions next fall how we do, what we're gonna do going forward. But there we are, one day, and this project is complete. Kylie got started pulling out some of the old stuff a few weeks ago, but we finally got it all wrapped up, and now we can take this off our plate, off our minds, and the weather can turn sour, and this is one more thing we don't need to worry about before winter creeps in. So mission complete. Now it's time to throw that fabric in the shed and call it a day. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Good day to be a dog.
Hey.
Caught some rodent rolling in it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, boy, you want to show it off. Oh, it's a mole.
Yeah?
Gonna compost?
Hey dude.